Okay, and then I'm going to make you the host, Nick. If you want to show anything off your website or anything, you can that way. There we go. Okay, you should be good then. Yeah, we'll record it. I'll just send out the recording to everyone. So,
Very good. Yeah. Thanks, Nick, for being here. We really appreciate it. Um, Welcome to the Professional Outdoor Media Association of Canada's seminar series. We got Nick Trehearne here from Prince George, BC. We're going to go over some uh, photography stuff with Nick, and he's nice enough to share his information with us. He's an award-winning photographer with over 14 years of photography in the hunting and fishing industry, and has worked with many, many wonderful companies around the world and got to travel everywhere and has probably a zillion great stories. So, Nick, we really appreciate you. And Nick and I went over some questions that we're going to go back and forth on. And if anyone does want to ask anything, feel free to chirp in and ask. And we can go from there, right? So thanks, Nick.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Just open the list here. Just totally not having done one of these before. Do you want me to just kind of go through your pointers, or is this?
No, well, I have them here, so I'll ask you, and then we'll go through stuff. So,
Okay.
yeah. So I was just wondering, for outdoor photography, what does that mean today in 2026?
As far as the industry relates, I find it is more and more narrowing what it means when it comes to being relevant in the industry. Once upon a time, outdoor photography was taking your buddy out, throwing some camo on him, and getting to walk up and down a ridge a few times with antlers on your back. And now you won't even get a second look for doing something like that. So I would say anything that captures actual rawness, like completely unscripted, it's better to be kind of flawed than perfect.
Oh yeah, yeah. I can see lots of your shots. They're kind of catching people off guard. As they're straining to stand up with a heavy pack on, you get that look on their face of them wincing as they're trying to lift that 90-pound pack of elk meat up, and then you
Yeah.
catch those shots. And those are the unique shots that maybe customers, companies are looking for. Showing the grit of the hunt, right?
Yeah, so that would definitely be my short version summary of outdoor photography. But I guess ultimately it's any picture taken outdoors, whether it's skiing, climbing, biking, hunting, fishing. It's all outdoor photography, but I
For sure.
guess I only look at it from my narrow focused viewpoint in the hunting and fishing realm.
For sure, yeah. So in the last 5 or 10 years, how has things changed? Is it really drastic changes or small changes?
Um, as far as what's being used, I guess everyone kind of knows that's been following along that Sitka kind of reinvented the wheel. Like that's what made their brand, was just telling raw stories right from the get-go. And basically everyone else has just slowly got on board with that. Would be the only change that's that dramatic that I've seen. If anything, now there's subtle changes to incorporating more AI, more things subtly outside of the space, like the cooking elements or the driving to the place elements, like all those more lifestyle aspects of what goes into the back end of your hunting or fishing trip. But
Yeah, kind of the B roll and the video side of it, right?
yeah,
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 okay.
learning that not everyone needs that lifting 100-pound pack with a big set of horns on your back, because at the end of the day, that's not relatable to most people as much as we all wish it was.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, totally. The shots around camp, of the meals and of the camaraderie and sitting around by the fire and even
Yeah,
putting up camp in the rain. Those are all just the raw photos that you want to catch. So
yeah, exactly.
yeah, that's very cool. So, what type of brands hire outdoor photographers nowadays?
They all try to, and they all will if you're willing to undercut yourself enough. Um, the brands that I would pursue if I was trying to actually make a living in it would be kind of like your flagship legacy brands, like the Weatherbees, the Sacco, Seiko, however you say it, Bergara, the the Sitkas, the Yetis. Basically, flip through any hunting magazine, and you could tell immediately who's paying for photos versus who's not.
Yeah. Yeah, the people that have the 2-page layouts are the ones you want to go for almost, right?
And just differentiating based on quality, because there's lots of companies that will grab an iStock photo for 30 cents and put it in a $20,000 magazine ad. But you could just tell by the look of it, it's not as professionally done as the alternative might be.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's can totally see that angle. You see lots of that in advertising where people just grab the raw photo and just use some stock photo from somewhere, and then they put their logo over top of it and try to make it look good. And yeah, you can kind of see that. The novice wouldn't, but the professional people kind of go, oh, okay, I get that. So
like you can flip through any bow hunting magazine on the rack today and see someone looking through a peep sight that's 3 inches too high. Like every magazine has it in almost every issue. It's just differentiating between them all.
oh, for sure, yeah. And is it better to specialize in a certain, like, climbing, hunting, bow hunting, or just be open to everything with all the different manufacturers?
I think for your personal growth and development, it's definitely beneficial to do it all. Like whether it's photographing your kid's basketball game to rock climbing or whatever, like you said. As far as building a presence or a brand, I would never dream of doing a second, I guess, avenue. Go all in on one thing. Kind of, my old man always taught me to master one thing, not do a bunch of things half-assed. So I kind of took that through my career for the last 14 years, and it's worked.
All right. Yeah, that's great. What does a strong outdoor portfolio actually need to have put together to be able to show a big company?
Bear with my ignorance here. Can you see my screen, TJ? Or how do I share it? Sorry, never done this before. Again, share screen.
I can't even unmute myself here. There should be an option to share screen at the
At the
bottom.
bottom of the page.
It should
Yeah.
say share.
Yeah, it's not letting me. Yeah, it's not letting me for some reason.
Try Alt S.
No. No, it's just blocking me. It's only giving me cancel as an option, unfortunately. All right, we'll just go the verbal way.
Descriptions, that was good. No problem.
Yeah. As far as a well-rounded portfolio, it's good to have a bit of everything. Like go follow your buddy with an upland dog for a day and go into the mountains for a day and capture all the things. But it's more important the quality of it. You're better to have a banger set of photos from a 1 hour hunt than you are kind of rushing through capturing an entire fall's worth and throwing it at a brand as that's kind of your best game, because you'll never capture amazing stuff every trip, all trip. So yeah, I would really focus on the subtleties that differentiate it. Like you said, whether that's the facial expressions, whether that's the dog wiping out or steam from the mouth, like little things that happen on every hunt that we notice, or like the bead of sweat or whatever it may be. Like those are the little things that set an image apart, in my opinion.
Very cool. And do you think it's more important when you have a portfolio to direct people to your website itself or to your socials?
100% a website is the most important tool for photography. Instagram's great, but a lot of the work, especially once you get more established, that you end up shooting has clauses in it that you can never share it on social, that no one else can ever use it other than for your self-promotion, like website and trade show books. So if you're really trying to advertise your best foot forward, there's tons and tons and tons of that you're not able to put on social. So yeah, I've found actually more than anything, another trend over the last few years is less and less of a presence on social media. I find is the way it's going.
Oh yeah, it kind of paints a false world in some people's views of what people are actually up to. So,
Yeah. Well, and
and
especially
we
like,
kind of need people to be more social on social.
100%. And just the way social media is going, especially for a photographer, not a videographer, if you're not posting reels, as we all know, or video clips, you get zero reach anyway. So posting single still photos, like out of my 11 or 12,000 followers, maybe 400 will see the actual picture. So there's really not that much benefit as far as like getting in front of the eyes of the right people.
Yeah, that's one thing I was going to ask. How do you find the right person at a company to contact them regarding doing photography for them? Is it something through networking through like LinkedIn or something? Or is it just networking through the hunting, fishing, outdoor industry of people that you know?
In the past, LinkedIn was 100% your best friend because you could narrow down a company, narrow down marketing department, and then narrow down like an art director or something like that. But nowadays, AI, it's not even a close second anymore for LinkedIn. Like I don't remember the last time I opened that to find a source. Like one AI search, and you have every single person at that company and what their position is. So
Yeah, it's pretty much opening up some avenues that people never even thought of before. And if nobody's really getting on board trying it, now's the time to leverage it, use it as a bonus, learn how to use it while it's new, and cherish it because it's not going to go anywhere.
yeah, especially like you said, as far as like finding work too. Another aspect of it that you might not think about is a lot of these larger brands are publicly traded, like whether it's through Vista or companies like that or Yeti or whatever. But you're able to go into their financials and look up what they're spending on marketing before you ever contact them. So
Oh,
you can see your odds of success on a pitch before you even email the guy.
right. And that, like, you know, some of the biggest mistakes people make before they pitch the brand is not researching it, do you think?
100%. Not, well, yeah, it's just easy to waste time. Like there's lots and lots and lots of brands that have reached out to me or I've reached out to them over the years, not knowing, where you'll have this long drawn out conversation and your pitch is going great and they're just totally into what you're selling. And then they finally end with, well, we've had our final meeting and it looks like we're going to be able to spend $400 this year. It's like, that's cool, but that doesn't pay my mortgage. So this conversation's done, kind of thing. So yeah, the more and more you can learn ahead of time, whether it's little things like AI help or whatever off the start, the better. It's just streamlining your workflow.
Oh yeah. And do you have a certain AI that's your favorite that you've been using? Is it Grok or is it ChatGPT or
Gemini would be just
Gemini? Yeah.
no specific reason, just worked well for me.
Right. Okay. Yeah. There's a. It seems like a new AI generator popping up every week. That there's a new app. There's a new ad for it, and it's kind of like, it's you just learn one, and then there's a new one that's out there, right?
And I think the things I'm searching from my photo business standpoint are so basic, any of them can do it. Like it's not like I'm looking for complex investing calculations and advice and stuff. Like it's a guy's name and their numbers.
Right. Yeah. So in your pricing when you're negotiating with a company, how do you work on the price based on proactively ask them if they have a certain budget they want to work on for a project first so you can get an idea of what you can offer them for deliverables?
Um, so editorial, as probably all of you know, since you've worked with magazines, is generally fixed rates. Like you might get a little bit of room here or there if you've done more for them or if they really need it, but they have pretty standard rates, at least photos anyway, and what little writing I did back then. As far as pitching bigger projects for gear clients, I walk in setting the bar and price. Like I completely value my project. It's a take it or leave it stance at this point.
Yeah.
Like I know my worth. I I guess, how many trips I can actually factor in a year to be able to make a living doing this, and what those all have to look like to be able to piece the puzzle together, so to speak. So, um, I think one of the biggest things that people screw up on when they are trying to figure out pricing is trying to appease the client, which kind of sounds horrible because you want them happy. But the amount of money that's left on the table from content creators not knowing the value of their own content is absolutely mind blowing. And that's just from talking to all these art directors and marketing managers over the years. So, yeah, just be firm and be bold would be my advice on that one.
Oh, that's great. Great info there. Because yeah, lots of people, if they don't understand, based on their reach and their experience, it's just like a company, pricing out a job for construction.
Yeah.
And, they know it has to hit a certain amount dollar wise for it to be profitable for the company to do that actual job. And if you're, if you only have a certain amount of time in a year to do so many hunts and so many, photography shoots, you have to make it so it's going to be worth your while to be at where you're at.
Oh, absolutely. And one of the biggest, I guess, things that pushed me to coming to that realization, might have been 10 or more years ago now, was I did a lot more wildlife photography at the start. And when you're doing that, you're in large groups of people. Like everyone knows the Jasper elk or the wild horse rams or whatever you're photographing. So you'd be next to all the professionals that are all selling to the exact same clients as you. And just from talking to them, like all of them have single photo sales of 20, 30, 40, 50, $60,000 US for one picture. It's like it suddenly puts a real spin on what the value of a photo is and what companies are willing to pay for it. So when like editorial is the worst baseline that you should never, ever, ever, ever go off of because it's so far below what photos are actually worth and what brands are willing to pay. Um, Once you kind of ditch all of that and look at the astronomical amount that those guys made, it's like, okay, I no longer feel bad pitching these higher dollar projects because every year these general brands in the hunting industry, like lots of their photo budgets are three, four, five, $600,000 to work with 4, 5, 6, 10 freelance photographers. It's like they're willing to pay it. It's just they're not going to start by saying we can give you a 5-figure check. They're going to start by saying can you do it for $1,000?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. What factors do you think should influence your pricing? The amount of time that you're going to be on the trip, or the amount of gear you need to purchase in advance for the trip, or
Such a huge thing, like not
yeah,
including rental gear for specific projects or shoots. I break about $20,000 in cameras a year. So it's like I factor that in, then I factor all my insurances, then I factor like what a livable wage is, then yada yada yada. Like everyone has to have their own baseline, but it's kind of a revolving picture of all things. Like gas is $1.90 a liter here now, so it's like that's not making things cheaper. And yeah, it's kind of not an easy answer on how to price, but
for sure, yeah.
just really add up every single thing from your shoelaces to your plane ticket and times that by 12 months.
Yeah, that's a good way to think of it. People sometimes forget all the little things like, breaking a lens or camera strap breaking and you drop your gear halfway down a mountain. Like there's all kinds of stuff that, you have to have, of course, more than one camera, your backup stuff, backup batteries, charging devices, all this parts and pieces that, that companies don't always think of that is in your pack of gear that you take. So,
Yeah, exactly.
Hey Nick, just quickly, I think I figured out how you can share your screen, maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
If you go to the bottom and there's 3 dots that says more.
Yep.
Um, so click on that.
Yep.
And there should be something that says host tools.
No.
No. Okay. Never mind then. I don't know.
There's
I don't know.
literally a giant green button that says share screen. It's just not working.
Oh, okay. There's something really glitchy about this tonight then.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
all right. Well, so in getting a photography job, how much leverage do you have to negotiate without trying not to lose the job? Like, are you very careful, or like, I know you have a great reputation yourself, but newer people that are
Yeah,
not
no.
at the level you're at, how far should they go negotiating with the client?
Yeah, no, I'm definitely fortunate. Like I think this was the first year I took on a new client in about the last 8. So yeah, it's definitely a little different for this or for my scenario. But for new people, literally stand firm and be bold with your what you think is a too big of number would be my best advice. Because so many people, as we've all seen on all the social medias, whether it's TV shows or videographers or photographers in this industry, try to come in guns blazing. They're extremely talented, but they cannot figure out the business end of it on how to make the numbers work. And they fade away within 12, 24, 36 months. When if they just would have stuck to their guns and gone with their perceived value out of the gate, they probably would have a healthy career doing it.
Right. Yeah. And if
A side job as an electrician or whatever they're doing on the side.
Yeah, and if you're making a package for a client, like, generally, how many images are included? Is it depending on how long the trip was, or do you have a certain level that you put this? This shoot will include 800 images, 200 images, 1,000 images. Who knows, right?
So it's a bit of a different scenario for every job. Um, if I'm lining up the trip, therefore the tag, the hunter, the location, all the things, that's a very different rate and deliverable package than if I'm showing up for a shoot where they get exclusive usage of the images, which would be a far lower number of deliverables versus a non-exclusive shoot that they line up, where it kind of be in the middle between something I'm lining up and the exclusive package. So it's very variable, for lack of a better word, but it's a lot lower numbers than people think. Like perfect example. I just did 10 days in Brazil on a fishing trip down there, and the deliverable package for 10 days was 120 images. So most people would think 10 days of shooting, they would get a hell of a lot more than that, but no. And the client was stoked. Like, it's my biggest regular client.
That's good.
So
That's pretty amazing. Yeah, I would never think that, but now, hey, as long as they're quality, awesome images,
well,
that's more
everyone
important.
profitable and you.
Yeah, that's way more important. And when you deliver those images, are you editing first and then deliver them, or are you sending them the raws and letting them edit? I would think that you would edit them yourself to make them your style, right?
So golden rule is never, ever, ever send out a raw period to anyone for any reason.
Right.
Once they have that, they can manipulate it now with technology to basically steal your copyright and register it without your permission. So it's just not worth it. And also with digital, like, it's not the days of film where you just go get them developed or whatever. Like, half of my brand, half of my look is what I am doing on the computer to that raw. It's like, yes, I try to get it as right in camera as much as I can, so I have less to do when I get home. But at the end of the day, there's a large proportion to my brand that is done on the PC.
Right. And on the photos that you take, do you have a special, like, licensing that you have to do for your work specifically through your, like, insurance or something, just so no one
Like,
tries to nab the images? Or
well, it depends where in the world. The biggest places that have screwed me have all been UK clients because they have horrible image laws. But US and Canada is pretty similar in its, I think, $150,000 base fine for stealing a single photo from a photographer and using it illegally. Is the max you can get, or the minimum you can get in court. No, sorry, maximum.
Yeah.
So yeah, every job is completely licensed, like I was kind of saying, whether it's exclusive, non-exclusive, whatever. It all comes with baseline terms like duration, what it's allowed to be used for, where it's allowed to be used on Earth, like whether it's a magazine ad, a billboard, whether it's wide open within a 3-year period. Like, every job's different based on their needs, and the price reflects it.
And is there somewhere people can find that licensing information? Is it generated your own design through like a lawyer, or is it just, your other colleagues in the same industry, all share the same kind of thoughts on everything?
The paperwork end of it, I hired a lawyer, and all done up years and years ago with basically plug and play for the durations, the terms, whatever. As far as learning, did it freeze? Can you guys still hear me?
Yep.
Oh, it's frozen again. Sorry. As far as the learning about licensing, the only way not to see the pricing necessarily, but to see the various categories would be go on a stock photo site like Getty Images or something and look at not the royalty free, but the rights managed category. And then they have all the different drop down tabs that show you all the different applications.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. It's good to know. So, in your photography, do you make special pictures that are just for social media versus other pictures that are just regular photos for magazines? Are there two different styles that you take, or they're all the same?
Um, no, no, I really don't shoot for other than just because I enjoy going out with wildlife, not because I'm doing it from a business standpoint, but I really don't shoot for editorial. It's just not worth the time and return anymore. Usually, what editorial images get run are I will go on a non exclusive shoot or a hunt or fishing trip. The client gets 100 images, let's say, but I'm happy with 250 or 300 of them. So I will take those remaining 200 and I have a stock image site that magazine editors will then come into and shop from.
Wow. Okay. That's a great idea. That's something for people to note if they're building themselves a website, is to have that kind of extra branch on their tree of the website to be able to have stock images that are for sale that you could sell to clients. So it's good.
As far as the editorial works, like it's a really beneficial system to editors because they don't have to come to you. Like we have it like I was saying earlier, usually it's predetermined pay rates with whatever magazine. So we've agreed on all the terms for all the different usages for size and cover, 2-page spread, whatever. So they'll just come in, grab it. I can see on the back end of my website that such and such an editor from such and such a magazine grabbed it. And then I'll just follow up with the hard copies, but everyone's professional and good enough that a check just comes in the mail. So it makes it a lot easier on them to not have to email back and forth with you for invoices for all the stuff. The site automatically spits it all out for them.
Yeah, that's great. That's the best. That sounds like one of the best ways to do it. Do you always communicate with the clients through email, or is it lots of phone calls or Zoom meetings or Teams, or what are you using?
I really wish it was phone call because I just don't like technology that much. But email is the
Email the
number.
best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of my clients that are like the marketing directors with quite large brands will not pick up their phone if I call them, but they will answer an email 3 seconds after they don't pick up the phone call and have the full conversation back and forth. It takes like half a day. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I can see by everyone's reaction, Ken and TJ there.
Yeah.
They know what you're talking about there.
Yeah. But on the flip side, it has kind of saved my ass in a few ways when you're going back and forth and people remember different terms. And then it's like, no, you go back 14 emails and it's like, we agreed to this here, so to speak. So verbal's good as the old fashioned way where a handshake meant something. Unfortunately, it does not anymore as much as I wish it did. So yeah, there is a benefit to written.
Right, for sure, 100%. Especially nowadays, if you can go back and say, well, 4 emails ago, here's the screenshot of what you told me was going on. You could at least have that leverage to say, your statement's incorrect. I have the right
Yeah.
statement here, and I will share it with you just so we can be
Yeah.
right on the same
Oh, yeah.
page.
It's never malicious or anything. Like I've flat out had clients that forgot the entire, like the actual hunt I was going on for them. And then they're surprised it's a totally different look and species when they get the photos. It's like, no, here, this is what happened. This is what we agreed on. And it's like, for some reason, they thought it was like an elk when it turned out being an antelope.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah. Now, everyone's busy. It all helps.
No. So if we can jump back into AI,
Mhm.
how is AI impacting the photography industry other than the obvious?
It's allowing a new form of sales. And by that, I mean very quick and fundamental image manipulation. Like, you can literally, with one sentence, take your image that's a blue sky day hiking a river bottom on the Red Deer River and turn that into a blizzard. So, like, fundamentally change the image. So, if they just absolutely love, like, this photo's banger, the composition, the lighting, everything's great, but we wish it was late season, it's like, well, you can now upsell that. You could do it before with Photoshop, but like to do something that dramatic would take you days to get it right, like with all the flakes and buildup of snow. And but yeah, that'd be the biggest use that I've found so far.
Hmm.
And you're just totally upfront going into it. It's like, this is something I will offer. It's not something I'm crazy about, but it's one of those, if you don't do it, you'll get left behind kind of thing. So
Yeah, I can see that trend happening. That if you offer it before everyone else, you're going to be ahead of the game, basically, right? If you say, I can edit this picture, it's
yeah,
a springtime shot, but I can add the leaves to make it look like fall if they love that picture, and then go from there and sell that picture. So,
yeah, or just like a nice, whether the photo is like bright yellow fall leaves, but they're not falling. Like, same thing, one sentence, and you could have falling leaves in the whole scene, and it really does fundamentally change the look of an image.
hmm. All right. What other new trends are changing outdoor photography that you can see appearing lately, basically?
Trends in AI.
No, just regular trends out there in the hunting industry that are changing things. Is it the fact that all the outfitters are using side by sides makes it easier to get to the photography spot, or is it the fact that now everyone's using Starlinks on the back of their horse, or what?
I would say the biggest trend would be the subject matter that people are gravitating towards, and it is the physically easier stuff. Like, kind of going back to the other example, when Sitka first came out, that was driving the aspirational images. Everyone wanted to go capture sheep hunts or goat hunts or caribou hunts or the grueling mountain stuff just because of the epic backdrop. Now the biggest swing that I see is into waterfowl of all things. Like, the amount of money that brands are spending on waterfowl content is through the roof right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a giant group of hunters out there, both, the goose hunters, the guys after the ducks and everything. There's some amazing basically terrain that they're in, and it's such a change from the bush bottom or the wetland bottoms of wherever Missouri in the United States compared to up here and our goose fields.
Yeah. And the marketing was just solely so Western focused that if it's not waterfowl, whitetails, or turkeys, you are not relatable to like two-thirds of the North American hunting market. So it does make sense that it's going back that way. But I guess, would never have anticipated at the rate or the volume, I guess, that it's going.
For sure, yeah.
Like,
So
I don't know if any of you have noticed or anything, but like Sitka's launch into fishing, for example, in the last month, like, they haven't posted a hunting photo in a month, and they're one of the biggest hunting clothing companies in the world. So it's just like they're just taking a left away from Western big game.
yeah, I guess that's a big different approach. If they want to push the market to let everyone know that they're in the game for fishing now, that they're going to have to at least have, it takes a few images, it takes a few ads before people actually click into that company. Oh, wait a sec, they're actually doing fishing gear or fishing clothing, or it takes a
Yeah,
while before it gets into people's brain that it's actually happening.
yeah, 100%.
Mhm.
Uh, yeah, the only other big trend, I guess, more from a editor standpoint, is 100% AI produced images are making their way more into the editorial market than anywhere, but definitely impacting a lot of photographers who had steady work beforehand, specifically with wildlife. Like I probably can think of a dozen or more national covers last year that were AI wildlife images.
Wow.
And that took away off today's rates anywhere from $500 to $2,000 out of the photographer's budget.
Yeah, it's not a good trend for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would
So
definitely, if I was looking to get into photography now, stock photos, wildlife, landscape, they're going to be the way of the dodo bird pretty quickly, I would think. The only value photography, in my eyes, will have left is capturing the people that want to be captured. Because at the end of the day, Ken on a trip wants photos of himself, or the brand wants it of him because he's a sponsored individual or a celebrity or whatever. AI is not, at least now, at the point where you can deliver an entire photo package or marketing campaign, getting his face, fingers, whatever, right that many times. Like we're still, who knows at this rate, but probably a few years out at least for that.
yeah, that's one thing. It would be quite the amount of prompts to be able to get it to do a
Yeah,
whole portfolio for like, yeah, that's still something where you still need the raw photography images to be able to make it, especially if you're concentrating on an individual
yeah,
or a company.
yeah,
You can't always, I know AI will modify logos and things on its own and add an extra swoosh or an extra
yeah,
piece to it, and it looks silly, and you're like, oh, geez. But
yeah,
it's unfortunately growing.
yeah, 100%. Like it's self-learning, right? It's seen a lot more elk and deer images, which was why they're getting away with generating their own cover images now than it has hunting images, like you said, with the new Weatherby in their hand. Like it cannot generate that fast yet to not screw it up.
Which is good. Yeah, that's what we.
I kind of like my profession, so
Well, it'd be nice if there was a brake pedal on it.
yeah,
Slow it down a bit. Don't go so fast. I
yeah.
know it's if ask TJ about what about in videography and videoing, um, AI is nowhere near the raw footage of actual videoed segment of a show or something, right?
I think it depends on the user a lot myself. Like the amount of AI that we may or may not realize we're watching at the Hollywood blockbusters is probably amazing. But your average guy trying to make a hunting film, yeah, probably pretty rough around the edges.
Well, for sure. Okay. Well, that gives a good insight on that AI stuff. So, I want to ask you about your own challenging stuff that you've done. So, what was one of the most challenging shoots you've done in the last couple of years that really pushed you to the limits, stressed the gear to the max, and had you on edge?
Mm, I don't know. They're all kind of unique in their own way. I do a lot of mountain trips, so those just by default physically have the most exertion. The most challenging I find, like from a photography standpoint, in the last year, an Argentina dove hunt I was on last July, which you would think would be just endless photo opportunities because there's 75 million doves flying over top of you through the course of a day. But the repetition made it so easy for mentally you to just click into like a cruise control way of thinking. It was actually probably the most challenging creatively trip I've photographed. Um, I got swept away in Alaska about a year and a half ago from the boat and ended up, my camera's at the bottom of the Pacific currently because I couldn't keep swimming fast enough with it back. So that was a interesting one. From ticks in the Mexico jungle last year, I actually had 3 of my organs start to shut down for about 2 months last year. So that was
Jeez.
another interesting one. But
Wow.
yeah, there's lots and lots. I've kind of taken the approach of take all the trips that everyone says no to, as far as like sketchier locations or bugs or no travel advisories or whatever. So
Yeah, you never know when the cartel's going to show up and blow up the gas station, right?
Yep, we actually ran into the cartel on a turkey hunt in the Sonora last year as well. If I think about it.
Yeah, never know, eh?
Yeah.
Wow.
2 weeks later, actually, with the same outfit I was hunting, the editor of Field and Stream had a gun put to the back of his head, like while hunting with that same outfit by the cartels.
Wow. Yeah, that wasn't in the brochure, we'll call it.
Yeah,
Wow.
but other
Wow.
than the whole Oregon stuff, it all makes for fun adventures.
Well, for sure, yeah. So here, how about for all the gear that you take on a hunt with you, um, what gear actually matters versus what gear is actually just overhyped, where everyone says you should bring it and then no one ever uses it, that kind of thing.
From a photo standpoint,
Yeah.
so my base kit that goes on absolutely every job is I will always have a minimum of two like professional bodies and a 14 to 24, a 24 to 70, a 70 to 200, a 100 to 400, and a 105 macro. Those are on my person 16 hours a day when I'm at work.
Are you
Uh,
using SLR, Nick?
no, so DSLRs are beyond obsolete. Like Nikon doesn't even make them anymore. It's all mirrorless.
All mirrorless, eh? Yeah.
Hmm.
And I'm a Nikon shooter, so they stopped probably a couple years ago since they made their latest model.
Wow.
And the big switch there, why I finally switched, because it was still on the fence of one phasing out the other, was the weight. The bodies are just so much smaller. The batteries were so much smaller for backpack trips. It probably shaved 10 plus pounds off my back for a trip. So that was why I made the jump.
Yeah, all the gear you just described, I was just kind of thinking, adding up the weight of it all, lens, camera, body, batteries, like it just,
Yeah.
and then you need a charger for the batteries. You might need solar to take with you. Like it just
Oh,
adds up to like 50 pounds of camera gear.
yeah. And that's actually, speaking of those 2 points, that's one I never rely on. I never take chargers and I never take solar because it's just not reliable enough. At the rate I shoot, and kind of my yearly average is I take 1,000 photos a day while I'm on an assignment. So at that rate, it's depends on like cold, hot, whatever. But it's usually I justify 2 batteries per day. So on a 14-day backpack trip, I'm packing 28 batteries. So going in weight, I'm usually 20 pounds heavier than the hunter, even with his gun and tripod and spotting scope, just with all the lenses and crap and batteries and backup devices, kind of everything. And then, yeah, coming out, then he suddenly wants to even out our backpack weights. But yeah, it sucks to be a photographer.
Well, I guess if the hunter's not successful and doesn't get anything, then you can pass him a bunch of dead batteries, right?
I wish.
Yeah. No, I guess that's not part of it, I guess. I'm sure videographer guys get the same thing where, yeah, I'm not carrying your stuff. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Well, do you know, do any photographers use like pack llamas or anything to carry their gear that you've heard of?
Like when you're on a horseback hunt, yeah, you'll try to get as much weight off of you as possible.
Oh, sure.
But it's more speaking to a hunt, like you're not typically bringing your pack animals through the trees after a herd of elk or whatever. But like when I say I have all those lenses and 2 cameras, the 2 cameras are physically strapped on the outside with 2 different lenses. And then the other 4 lenses are always in my backpack. So as they're running and gunning, like I'm changing lenses as we're running after a herd of elk just to get different looks of the same scenes as we go and stuff. So there's no point during the actual hunt where I could just leave it behind or leave it on the horse or whatever it may be.
Right. Yeah. That's awesome.
And then, yeah, as the last bit of, I guess, on your gear question, fishing trips, it's always 3 camera bodies and one is dedicated to an underwater housing. And then any fishing trip or state, country, whatever, where it's legal, I always have a drone as well.
All right. Okay. I guess that's something you have to take into account the legalities to be allowed to fly the drone in the area and where you're going to shoot, right?
Yeah. As far as flying it, it's usually not an issue as long as you're under the 250 grams. So like a DJI Mini, in most countries anyway. It's more just a North American legality thing for state by state or province by province, which ones you're allowed with hunting and which ones you're not.
Right.
Like a
What drone?
lot of.
What
Oh,
drone are you using, Nick?
for most of the stuff, it's the mini.
Yeah.
I have a pro for North America, but any third world country or whatever, most of them, it's the mini, just because they have that rule where you have to suddenly license it or register or do all the extra hoops when it weighs a little too much.
Yeah, just one more piece of valued equipment we bring to you. So that's good.
Yeah.
Wow.
Basically, as long as it shoots raw photos, to further answer your question, TJ, that's my only prerequisite for a drone.
Right.
Yeah, it just gets those angles that you can get from the height, of course, right? So yeah, that's
Yeah.
great. Yeah, that's great using a different tool. Lots of people I know now are into drones and into trying to catch different angles of their hunt and everything, and it's a neat perspective, and makes you when you're watching the video or you're looking at the photo, it kind of makes you feel like you're there, right, watching over from above. So
Yeah, exactly. The
wow,
more skins you can put on the same scene, the better. It just kind of keeps your demand high.
right, very good.
Yeah.
Well, Nick, we I think we went through quite a bit of stuff, and if you could tell us where can everybody find you and the best place to source you, is that from your website or what would you say?
Um, you can find me, source me, whatever. It's basically all my name. So Nick Trehearne, it's spelled Trehearne, and it's nicktrehearne.com is my website, at Nick Trehearne on Instagram, Facebook. It's all just my name. Don't try to confuse it too much. So
Yeah, and at a marketing perspective, that's something for people to remember if they're out there trying to make their own brand name and get themselves out there, to not make some crazy name that it's different on Instagram than YouTube, than Twitter, than X, or each thing has a different handle. You got to streamline it, make it easy for people to find. So,
oddly enough, I thought the same thing too, but it turns out there's a guy with the exact same first, middle, and last name who's a photographer in UK. Like his
wow.
website is one letter off, his social is one letter off. I'm like, with a weird ass name like mine, I was blown away, but I had already bought my domain, everything. It's well, I'm sticking to it now.
Yeah, you never know. That's one thing to check is always, is there somebody else out there with the same name or
Yeah,
close? I'm sure people find that all the time,
yeah,
for sure. Well, very cool. So yeah, thanks a lot. I want to thank you on behalf of everybody here, and it's great for you to share your knowledge, and we really appreciate it. And being a member of the Professional Outdoor Media Association has its perks, and we want to just start showing people more and more with these seminars on how cool everything can be, and having that industry help and background for you know being able to leverage all the members to help you succeed is very good, I think. So thanks, man.
Can I ask
absolutely,
just a couple quick questions, Nick?
absolutely, DJ.
Because I remember it was like well over a decade ago, we were sitting in Smitty's having a discussion about you becoming a photographer, and
14 years ago.
was it exactly okay? How so I guess kind of a two-part question. So like how did you get started? And I guess the second part would be how would you suggest someone get started today? Because I'm certain it's very different.
So you actually kind of answered your own question a bit on that one. How I got started was joining what is now POMAC and reaching out to people like TJ and stuff. And literally, I can't remember how it went about, but I do remember sitting in Smitty's. Like, I think I just reached out, like, hey, I want to ask you questions. I'm interested in doing this. So, kind of just the blunt approach to a bunch of strangers. I remember sitting down with a professional photographer in Montana, TJ, a few other people in the Edmonton area, because I think I was up there at the time. So, yeah, just hit up people that know, because they will, without a doubt, be your best advice. Everyone that wants to or that is sitting on the sidelines will just give opinions, not what works, what doesn't. So, yeah, like that conversation we had was definitely pivotal and helpful in the process.
So did you put like a portfolio together first and start shopping it around, or how did that work?
Oddly enough, social media is kind of what got me discovered initially. Just I was figuring out a camera. I was new to it. Like I'd never owned a camera before, kind of diving headfirst into all of this. And can't remember which editor it was, but I was posting stuff on Facebook. Someone saw it and said, you should contribute. Your stuff's good, basically. And then the snowball just kind of rolled from there. And I don't know about the other aspects of the industry, but the photography side is actually very, very, very small as far as people doing it kind of full time or seriously or whatever. Once your name hits a few mastheads or gets talked about in a few conversations with various marketing directors or whatever, it really does not take long to find work. Like my biggest client to date that I've been doing stuff for I think 10 years or 11 years, I went down to SHOT. It was one of the first few years I was at SHOT Show, and I was literally just going from a meeting to a meeting that I had lined up with marketing directors, and I just heard, "Hey, are you Nick?" from across the aisle. Someone yelled that, and he just threw me his business card. "Hey, I want to hire you. Call me."
Well,
Yeah, that turned out to be biggest longest standing client since. So it really goes to show how small of an industry this is. And yeah, just get out there, stay out there, use AI, use LinkedIn, reach out to guys like TJ, myself, whoever that's in the industry, because all it takes about is a TJ to talk to one of his sponsors saying like, hey, there's this cool up and coming kid, like just in passing, like you might want to look into him. Like that can literally make or break your career.
and today, you the same advice?
Yes, I would say overall the same. The more and more we get technologically advanced, the more and more personal interaction really matters. So yeah, pick up a phone call, go buy someone a beer, have a chat, go blind to a trade show. I know that is very overwhelming to a lot of people, especially some of the bigger ones like ATA and SHOT. But if like the companies that attend those shows are typically the ones that have the budget for you. So they're invaluable.
I guess kind of my final question on AI, and I guess is there a line that you would draw, like what you would or wouldn't do, and is that going to cost you money down the road? Like, you were talking about the guy thought he was on an elk hunt when he was on an antelope hunt. I mean, you could easily put him holding an elk.
Oh, 100%. Or throw a
Yeah,
set of horns on his pack or whatever.
yeah.
Um, I won't say what will be solid rule down the road at this point. I will basically alter skies or weather is the only thing I've done for clients. But the foundation of the photo, the person, the act, whether there's success, whether there's an animal, that's all just how it was. And even then, it's maybe 20 to 30 photos last year. I sold my initial, and then they came back saying, "Hey, can you do this?" So I've altered, yeah, maybe that many, but I can't say I'll rule anything out because as fast as this career is getting,
Fair enough.
yeah,
Like,
archaic, like if I want to continue my living with a camera, I'm going to have to stay relevant, whichever direction that goes.
yeah, good answer.
Yeah.
That's it for
Nick,
me.
just one question, if you don't mind. I could have all the same gear as you. My pictures aren't going to turn out like yours do.
Mm-hmm.
At least not at this stage, probably. If you had one piece of advice you could give to those of us who maybe aren't trying to make a profession of being a photographer, but want better photography to accompany their editorial, as an example,
Yeah.
what one piece of advice would you give those of us who are amateurs and just want to get a little better
The
or better
single,
results?
yeah, for sure. The single greatest thing that I was ever taught was turn your camera to manual and never take it off of it. Because until you can force kind of the triangle that alters the light, the depth, the everything, like your shutter speed, your aperture, and your ISO, until you can force that on any shot, you're not in control of the photo you're taking. you're giving up 1/3 of that equation every time you're in shutter speed priority or aperture priority or auto ISO. Like, you're giving up so much of that image to your camera. So that'd be my greatest piece of advice. Other than that, it's just, I guess another one would be quit trying to follow the rules. Like, I've read a bunch of podcasts or stuff, and it's like rule of thirds. It's like one of the biggest rules there is.
Right.
Like, horrible, horrible, horrible advice. It's like, just do whatever your eye likes.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Leonard LaRue would not be happy with you.
No.
Yeah. One of my greatest, I guess, branding things is I use the wide angle more than anyone else in the entire industry, and everyone hates it. Like, all my competition was just, I've got to the point where I like to use that distortion to tell the stories that I want to tell, but most other photographers don't even pack a wide angle on trips. And it's my number one go-to. Like, it does not leave one body ever.
And what lens is that, Nick?
The 14 millimeter. Yeah. 14 to 24. So basically the outer third to half of the whole rim of the photo is just blown out.
At 14, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I would say 50% or more of the photos I sell are shot on that lens.
Well,
just because it's what I've mastered and kind of my style I've developed. But yeah, if you listen to the rules, everyone would say don't do it because it stretches people out. It morphs the situation. Like, how many grip and grin photos have you read guys or complained about or whatever, saying that's not what that deer looks like quit using the fisheye.
Right.
right.
But if you use it less trying to deceive the audience and more just as an artistic twist, then suddenly it's okay.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Yeah, that's a cool angle on it for sure. And those type of photos, well, they look great, 100%.
Appreciate it.
All right. Well, yeah, if anyone has any other questions, if not, we'll thank Nick for being a part of this, and yeah, we'll see everyone again.
So,
Thanks, Nick.
Okay. Thanks, Nick. Appreciate your time.
yeah.
Yes.